Man, this is just too cruel.
It's okay. Go.
Lotus.
Come on, you know we can't do that.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me.
God damn it, you idiot!
Where the hell did that come from? Looks like she expected that about as much as I did.
Without, if you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright?
For a cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence.
Bad?
Yeah. If there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job.
Uh-huh.
Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story.
7.
He's right. I'm not leaving you either.
Me too.
You didn't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you?
You're all idiots.
Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can all see you are about to cry.
That being said, however, I doubt we would be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus behind.
Huh? What?
I trust you remember what happened to Ace? I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but...
He tried to use the bracelet and it didn't open.
I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier, at the...
Oh, yeah.
No! What is this? What? The digital route should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
He tried to use the 9 bracelet with Lotus and his own bracelets.
Just to see, why don't we give it a shot?
Give it a shot.
Yes, that is what I said.
Okay.
You were right.
It ain't opening.
But it did open 9 years ago. The digital route was 9 then, I'm sure of it.
You think maybe they changed the settings?
Perhaps.
If you can't get through the door, we can't get out. The walls are way too high. There's no way in hell we could get to that hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on it. I guess this is it. This is the end. Akane vision? I was watching. I had watched everything that was reflected in his eyes. I was listening. Every sound that vibrated in his eardrums I heard. Smell, taste, touch. I felt everything he felt. I knew everything about him. What he was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was sensing. All of his feelings and worries and fears became mine. My mind, my consciousness was inside of him. Through the morphic field set, we were resonant and we were as one. I was him and at the same time, I was an observer. It started with a tremendous noise like a clap of thunder. That was approximately 9 hours ago. A bomb had gone off on the ship we were on. That was when my resonance with him began. My resonant event melted into him and we became one instead of Junpei. Somehow I found myself in Junpei's mind 9 years in the future. But I didn't lose myself. I was living in 2 realities at once. One was the present and the other was the future. Perhaps you can think of it as 2 movies showing on the same screen at the same time. Eventually it becomes difficult to separate them and determine which movie is which. However, if I concentrated, I was able to focus on one or the other. That was why I was able to grasp what was happening in front of me.
Come on, over here!
That was my brother Aoi. He was yelling. There's Akane. I followed him. Around me were 7 other children. They all looked like they were about my age.
Come on, hurry up!
We ran down a long straight hallway and burst into the large hospital room. Everyone was arguing. 2 of the boys got in a fistfight. A girl watching them began to cry. "I want to go home," she cried. "I want to go home." Another girl slapped the crying girl and glared down at her. It had been 2 hours since the Nonary game began. We were starting to fall apart. But just when all hope seemed lost, Light started talking. He was blind 9 years later. We would call him Snake. Okay, so in the first Nonary game, Snake went by the name Light.
Hello, everyone? Could you come over here for a moment?
He was older than most of us, and his voice had authority and dignity. The fight died down, and we gathered around him.
I have a little sister. She is very important to me. Right now, she is over in Building Q, and is desperately trying to send information over to me. Her name is Clover, and today is her 9th birthday.
Her name's actually Clover? Or is that just what we're hearing because we know the name? We know her as Clover. And it happened on her 9th birthday? As he spoke, he pulled something from his pocket. In his hand were 9 4-leaf clovers.
I was going to give these to her as a birthday present. I was outside picking them when I was abducted. I'm sure I've already told you, but I am blind. For a man who can't see, collecting 9 of a very specific plant is, well, it is difficult.
You managed to find 9? Even when you're not blind, that's difficult.
But my sister means a great deal to me. And I hope that these would show her how much I cared for her. Since it's her 9th birthday, I thought 9 4-leaf clovers would be appropriate. Every one of you has a brother or a sister in Building Q with Clover.
Except those 2. Which are brother and sister.
For their sake, we have to survive. We have to get off this ship. Do you understand? If we're going to do that, there are 3 things you have to remember. We need trust and love, and we have to have faith in one another.
Ah, that's how he knew these 4 words.
If we can take all 3 of those to heart, then I promise that good luck will come our way. Did you know that the leaves on the 4-leaf clover mean faith, trust, love, and luck? Those words are leaf words. So if you believe what I've told you, and you understand, then I want you each to have one of these. They're a promise between friends.
He gave a clover to each of us. I took one too. Eventually, he was left with only a single 4-leaf clover. He had one last thing to say.
Now don't ever forget, so long as you have that, we will always be connected. Do you understand?
When he finished, the tension of only a few minutes before was gone. We were calm. After that, we ran around the ship for a while longer and opened several of the numbered doors until we finally found a door with the number 9 on it. In fact, there were 2 doors with 9 on them, and we found them in the chapel. We split into 2 groups and walked through the doors. Before long, we all found ourselves in a room with a ceiling that looked like an upside-down funnel. For some reason, this room had another number 9, but this time it was only 1. But if there was only 1 door, That meant only 5 people could escape.
What are we gonna do? There aren't any other doors.
We began to panic. Then, as if things had not gotten bad enough already,
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged.
What? What's happening? What did that thing say? That didn't sound good.
my brother Aoi swallowed hard and answered,
I think it means this room is gonna burn.
Burn!
The plaque on the door says incinerator, and that voice said that the incineration is about to start. And incinerate means to burn.
No! Help me!
Abject terror filled the room as everyone began to scream and cry. Every pair of eyes were filled with despair. Then, high up in the wall, a door opened and a man appeared. He was a huge, frightening mountain of a man, as large as a bear. 9 years later, we would call him Seven.
Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you.
The rest happened just like Seven had said it did. The 4 of us who had stayed behind were saved by Seven. We crawled through the vent away from the incinerator and slid down into the hall. We came out on the other side of the door. On the wall opposite the door was a set of double doors. We went through those and began to run up the spiral stairs. As we ran, I led the way. Behind me were Nona, my brother, Aoi, Snake and Seven. The other children, the ones who'd gone through door 9 before us, were up ahead. I could hear them cheering each other on. We ran and ran and ran. We leapt across as many stairs as we could and kept running. The stairs spiraled upward like a tornado. Eventually, I pulled ahead of the rest. Perhaps Nona had slowed them down. I didn't want to lose them, so I slowed down as well. I didn't stop, but I glanced over my shoulder from time to time to see if they had caught up. That was when I realized
Oh no, where is it? Did I drop Jumpy's present?
I knew I'd had it with me when we passed through the vent. Then, had I dropped it as we slid out? I had to go back. I had to. But I knew I couldn't tell the others. They would stop me. I was sure of it. I didn't stop to think. I simply moved. I ran to the central hall, to the room that connected to all the other areas of the ship. I hid in the shadows, and moments later I felt a rush of wind as they ran past me, up the staircase. I waited until they were out of sight and then I ran. I moved as quickly as I could, down and down and down. Finally, I reached the bottom deck. I ran into the hallway and looked around frantically.
There it is!
It was just where I thought it would be, sitting under the opening of the vent. I ran over and snatched it from the floor, but as I ran back towards the stairs and freedom, the door to the incinerator opened and a man stepped out. It was Hongo. I'm going to say Ace. 9 years later, we would call him Ace.
Ah, how wonderful to see you decided to come back.
His smile made my blood run cold. It looked mechanical, as if someone had simply pulled up at the corners of his mouth.
Come with me. We must continue the experiment.
I shook my head, eyes wide. Slowly I began to walk backwards. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Then I spun around and broke into a run. I felt Hungo's hand close over my left wrist.
I said, come with me.
There was an edge of insanity to his voice now. I pulled as hard as I could.
No! Stop! Let go of me!
I shook my body and flailed my arms, trying desperately to get Ace to let go of me. But I was still only a child. I was no match for a man like Hongo.
Stop struggling, goddammit! Do as I tell you!
He heaved on my arm, trying to pull me into the incinerator. I screamed.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Then suddenly,
Akane!
the door to the stairs flew open, and my brother Aoi burst out of it. Behind him came Seven and Snake. Akane, he cried my name again as he leapt towards Hongo.
You came back!
I cried. But then,
Ah! You're too late, idiot!
Hongo threw his full weight against my arm, pulling us both into the incinerator. Then the force of it threw me to the floor. I scrambled to my feet and looked toward the open number 9 door. Hongo stood between it and me, but behind him I could see my brother, his fists clenched. But those fists never reached Hongo. With the cold, heartless screech of metal on metal, the door slammed shut. Hongo glanced at me mechanically, his face registering that there was an object there, but not anything he would consider a human being. Then he turned away and walked to the red that sat next to the door. He reached into his pocket and removed 2 bracelets. He waved them both over the scanner panel. 2 asterisks appeared on the red. He checked the screen, then tossed the bracelets carelessly onto the floor. What was he doing? What was the point? He made no effort to explain himself, of course. He said nothing at all and walked past me as though I were nothing more than a rock by the roadside. A few moments later, the 2 other doors slid shut as well. Faintly, I could hear someone pounding on the door behind me. I turned around and ran towards the door with the 9.
Akane! Akane! Are you okay?
I could hear a voice from the other side of the door. A worried, frightened voice.
Help me!
My throat was already raw, but I screamed as loud as I could. My voice echoed lonely around the empty room.
What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here!
Where's Hongo?
He went out the other door!
What?
Then it started again.
Warning. Warning. Emergency Incineration Command has been acknowledged. Incineration will begin in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Man, I knew what it was gonna say, but that is one hell of a creepy voice.
I knew it!
It's starting.
Santa started the incinerator.
Fuck! Man, I never thought I'd hear that damn voice again after 9 years.
And it's back to Junpei.
What the hell? What the hell? What in God's name are you talking about? It's 9 years this and 9 years that, and when it's not 9 years something, then you're talking about some sort of fucking experiments. You aren't making any sense.
Yeah, why is she one of the ones in this game? The ones that had nothing to do with the stuff 9 years earlier. Hasn't been explained why they're a part of this one.
I'm sorry, Lotus, but we really don't have time to explain it right now. I promise, I'll tell you everything once we get out of here.
But...
Incineration will begin in 17 minutes.
You know what that means, right? Incinerate means burn.
what kind of idiot do you think I am? I know what incinerate means.
Well...
She wasn't talking just to you.
God damn it! Okay, fine. I won't ask anything else. Talk about whatever you want. But you have to do something for me. 7, figure this out.
What? Why me?
Just shut up and stop this thing!
How the hell?
There has to be some sort of emergency shut-off button.
There isn't anything like that.
How the hell do you know?
Because I looked for it 9 years ago.
Yeah, Lotus isn't happy about that. Can't really blame her. Wait. The floor. It's moving. Okay. What else can I say about it? But,
What the hell is that?
yeah, exactly.
What is that?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, Spud. What? What else could I say? Oh, back to Akane. The floor opened and a machine rose up out of it. It looked like a computer. At least, it kind of did. There was a monitor, a keyboard, and a cross-shaped device of some kind. Something about the machine scared me, but I forced myself to walk up to it. I was terrified. Tears poured down my face. I wiped them off, even as more took their place, and forced myself forward. Finally, I reached it. I looked at the screen. It was blank. All I saw was my own frightened face staring back at me from the glass, drenched in tears. All I can see on this screen is a reflection of my own face. Back to Junpei. I'm looking kind of freaked out. I know I'm sweating like crazy, but seeing it kind of drives me home. Okay, Junpei, just calm down, alright? Everything's gonna be okay. Gah, man, I wish that thing would just shut up.
Incineration will begin in 15 minutes.
Alright, back to this thing. If it's only showing up now, then it's gotta be important. But what the hell am I supposed to do with it?
Hey, move!
Gah. Hey, we're all tense, lady. That doesn't mean you get to shove people around.
Okay, it's turned on. There's nothing on the screen, though. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. If there's nothing on here, how are we supposed to do anything with it?
Sure. I'll just push buttons. I'm sure that'll... There we go. Huh. Well, at least it's on now. What's on the screen, though?
What is this?
What's up?
It looks like some sort of puzzle.
It's got a bunch of numbers and letters scattered across a 5x5 grid. The numbers range from 1 to 8.
Do you think that if we solve this puzzle...
The incinerator will stop? Yeah. Well, we can hope, right?
Alright, puzzle. How do you work? Oh, man. That goddamn voice again.
Incineration will begin in 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Can we really do this? My heart feels like it's gonna pop. Back to Akane. My heart was pounding like it was about to explode. I stared at the puzzle on the screen. I was sure I had to solve it, somehow, but I had no idea how. My connection to Jumpy had been gone for a while. His mind was gone. I couldn't get any more information from him. I felt the seconds tick by as I stared at the screen, completely lost. My cheeks felt hot as tears poured down over them. Then I heard a voice.
Hey, what are you doing?
It was muffled. I turned around. Pressed against the window in the entry door was a face, a frightening, evil face. It was Hongo. How long had he been watching me?
Don't know what to do.
He was yelling, but his voice was still muffled.
It's simple, really. But I suppose I might as well tell you. Just solve the puzzle on that machine.
And how do we do that? His laughter was muffled by the door, but it still tore at my heart like the claws of a vicious monster. I bit my lip and glared at Hongo, struggling to hold back hot tears.
You're a terrible person! I hate you!
Oh my! How could you call a gentleman such as myself a terrible person? That's not very nice.
You're not a gentleman. You're a killer. You're a murderer.
I'm quite fair. I don't use tricks or play dirty.
You didn't play tricks or play dirty with the ninth man?
You see? I've even left you a way out.
A way out?
Didn't you hear me? All you have to do is solve that puzzle. Do that, and you can stop the incinerator.
What's the point of stopping it? You'll only capture me and make me do this all again. I'm not going to listen to you. If you're just going to throw me back in here, I might as well just die now.
My goodness, haven't you listened to anything I've said? I told you, I'm a fair man.
Huh?
You're not a fair man in any way.
If you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will in turn activate. If this experiment is to deliver valid results, there must be a chance of success. If you succeed, you will escape.
The verification function of the red?
Then I remembered. Before Hongo left the room, he had scanned 2 bracelets into the red.
Ah, so you do remember. Right now there are 2 numbers in the red. The first is 1 and the second is 3. Say, Akane, what's your number?
6. I looked down at my left hand. The face on my bracelet showed a 5. Okay, she's the same number as Junpei. I ran to the door with the 9 on it. I grabbed the red and put my hand against the scanner panel.
You really aren't one for listening, are you?
I hear Hongo's muffled voice from across the room.
I've already told you, didn't I? Once you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will activate. In other words, if you haven't solved the puzzle, you can't enter your number. What kind of fool are you?
Why are you doing this?
You could never understand. You don't know what it's like to spend every day surrounded by monkeys.
Huh?
Now start the experiment. Solve the puzzle.
I can't! I don't know how!
Of course you don't. Isn't that the point? You understand, don't you? Access the morphogenetic field and find the solution.
I can't!
Then you'll die. You'll burn alive. It's gonna be quite hot in there in a few minutes.
You're a crazed maniac murderer.
I imagine it will be very painful.
His horrible laugh echoed across the room, and even after his face disappeared from the window, I could hear it.
Incineration will begin in 10 minutes.
I was crying, great gulping sobs broken by hiccups that shook my body. I was terrified. I could feel my fear pressing down on me like a tremendous weight. Somehow I forced my shaking legs to carry my Carry me back to the device. I stared at the monitor.
I can't. I just can't. There's no way. I can't figure this out.
What was I going to do? I didn't know. I didn't even know where to start. Fear scattered my thoughts, and all I could think of was how I was going to die.